Supersize your kaiju collection by checking out Big Bad Toy Store. Check out the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen today.
Dragon Ball, horror, kaiju, and more. Steven Story Reviews.
Hello there, collectors. It's going to be Steven here, of course. Who else would be on STR? And I have another review for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic, and it is quite exquisite today. Burning Godzilla Battle Boston version, beat 'em up. Yeah, it's that one. It's going to be the translucent event exclusive Burning Godzilla. You know it, I know it, you love it, maybe, but you're checking this review out because maybe you're not sold on it. Maybe you want to learn something new. Who knows? But it's the Burning Godzilla from the Monsterverse, and it's coming back on the shelf from Hiya. On the shelf, the digital shelf, and let's take a look to see whether or not it's going to be worth adding to your collection. Spoilers, it is, but there are a couple things worth talking about. And what is worth talking about here? Well, it looks fantabulous. It looks great, it looks fantastic, and I think that's the review, right? Well, of course. I mean, the sculpt is pretty much going to be the same Hiya, Monsterverse sculpt that they've been releasing so many times again and again and again. And I think the issue that some folks have where, they've noted that, well, Tamashii Nations has ran the mold of the Godzilla versus Kong sculpt so many times. Why is it the issue with Hiya? With Hiya, it's been consistently back to back to back, whereas Tamashii Nations, we've had a little bit of a break. How many Godzillas have we had released in a year that have used the same sculpt? That's kind of the point that's being made. However, when we have something that's a bit more enticing and beautiful and really well done like this, there's a little bit less of a sting compared to some of the other releases, like maybe a botched up head and some very sloppy applied paint. So for here, we do have those nice beady yellow eyes and nicely applied teeth paint. While it may not necessarily be accurate to the source material, the burning effect for Godzilla does look great. I would say that for this, it does resemble very close to the Spiral Studios release, which did look fantastic and does look amazing. However, in terms of accuracy, it's more so that Godzilla is going to be the more so charcoal gray black color with burning cracks and crevices throughout the skin, but not to this super extreme that some companies think that he has. I do think that this is more so for convenience, more so for ease of production, so perhaps we may never be able to see that. But when it comes to making it look awesome, taking a look at the dorsal plates and some of the amazing ways that this catches the light, honestly, I can't complain. As it stands now in terms of an action figure, I do think that this is going to be one of the best, if not the best, Burning Godzilla action figures on the market. But there are going to be a couple of areas that are an issue with the paint, and it's mostly going to surround where the figure moves. Articulation. It's the same. Same song and dance that we know from Hiya and their Monsterverse Godzilla that they've released so far. Jaw is going to be on a hinge, opens and closes. See, look at that. And you can see that the neck's on ball joint. We do have the tongue, moves down. Come on. There you go. See? So you can do a little adjustment if you need it. So head rotates on ball joint. Woo! Looks up about that far with the neck system, down about that far. Remember, translucent plastic, so we do have a little bit better give here. As you're going to see with the shoulders, we can push it out just a little bit more. Down, rotate all the way around, rocking. No actual bicep swivel like cut there, but we do have swivels at the elbow. So this way we can spin it around. And like I did make mention, like the translucent heat ray, we do have a much easier time getting the full degree of the bend at the elbow. Hands, which we'll go ahead and jump to the accessories for him as well. Ball joint, real easy to move around. Cool. This one is rather loose. This one is loose, but not as much. You can just easily pop the hand off. See the ball joint there for the wrist, because we get fists. Ooh, very cool, very nice. And what's better is that the fists, come on now, they are tight on the wrist, which is, good, because, you don't really like loose joints. All cool. Same sort of paint scheme. Now, if you take a close look, we'll just go ahead and zoom in here to make it easier on everybody, right? Boop. The fingers are sort of open, and the thumb is not sculpted into the fingers like some fists and sort of splayed weapon holding hands are, you'll see why I make mention of weapon holding in a little bit. So, all right. So that's all good. So hand-arm movement is fine. Nothing over the top, but it is good. We can get Godzilla to move around. We do have the waist joint, because it's not really up here in his abdomen, but he can look far down, that far up. He can rock from side to side. You got to readjust it because it's going to be like a barbell style ball joint. And then keep in mind the dorsal plate here has a little spike. So as you go to twist and turn left and right, that may block it. Just push forward and then turn. Make sure you clear that little spike and you're good to go. Hips, ball joint, that far out. We can twist all the way around and spin all the way around, so that's good. Knees are going to plug in here and down here on ball joints, so we get a little bit of micro adjustment, twist and turn and rock if you need to, but we do have hinges, which is good. Then for the ankles, we do get ball joints, so they are rockers. Tail, ball joint and movement. Keep in mind that mine didn't necessarily pop out too much. But if you continue to push, you will eventually force them out. I touched on this a little bit in the Sculpt and Paint section. This is something that is sort of becoming commonplace with some action figures. This was really most noted in the Night Colors Godzilla 2019 from Tamashii Nations, the Kong Beast Deity Studio, whatever, Kaioken Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So what we've got going on now is this weird thing where some companies are basically like skimping on the paint in between sculpted parts. Like you can see when it's flush, right? Okay, flush, no problem. Then we go to move the joints and we have the hidden plastic, no paint. So that's kind of a pain, right? Yeah, and then you can also see here where the paint was kind of stuck and sort of like glued the figure in place for some of the joints. So it's kind of a pain, which this area does have a ball joint as well, but it's stuck. So c'est la vie. So for the articulation on Burning Godzilla here, it's all fine. It's all dandy. It's all good. He can strike his poses a little bit better than the more so solid plastic Godzillas. So that's fine. Next up for the accessories, because we talked about the fists, the sort of splayed hands, whatever. We do get Ghidorah gore. I like to say that. It's kind of weird. So, Ghidorah. It's mostly going to be for the gravity beam version because there were some slight refinements to the joints to the gravity beam Ghidorah, to the ball joints, and then at the base of the neck there's a hinge, right? So, we do get this little stump here that is going to be at the base of the neck that you pop off, and then at the base of the neck from the main body. So pretty gory, pretty nice. This is to really recreate when Godzilla rips his head off in the ocean, and then when he's up on the mountain, just that one scene where he's regenerating or something. It doesn't specifically show the tongue. It's kind of more so the spinal column, which is pretty neat. You do like the gore anyway, regardless one or another. Now, I can't really do the big whole display, have everything up here on the table, especially with King Ghidorah, since there are so many, so much space taken up here. But what I can show you is that I kind of messed up, and I realized that a little bit after because I actually found the instructions, but I can just count with you. So it's supposed to be used at the fourth part down on the neck, which if you count, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. This is considered one part, apparently according to the instructions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where this is supposed to plug in. And then the part that goes onto the neck on the body, this actually should be attached to the body still. So I kind of messed that up, but as you can see here, this still fits in, admittedly a little loosey-goosey. So if you do happen to mess up, kind of like I did, it still actually works. So long story short, the accessories for Burning Godzilla, the Boston Battle, Burning Battle, event exclusive, whatever. You can kind of even see what I was talking about with the paint here, kind of not looking all that great. Anyway, the accessories are pretty cool. What I think, and I still would like to see from some company, I know there are some, shoe, lower portion of the body arms, they've done red beams from MonsterVerse Godzillas. I still think it would be really cool, even if not official, and he didn't use it in the movie, a red beam for a MonsterVerse burning Godzilla. I think that would be cool. Anyway, size comparison, because, you know, even though we have seen this Godzilla mold how many times now? Yeah, maybe this will be somebody's first. So there you go. Real quick and dirty for you. Now, of course, here is going to be a side-by-side comparison with the original Burning Godzilla. And, you know, like I've kind of noted from the top, I do think that this is going to be the better of the two. I do think that this is probably going to be the best Burning Godzilla figure on the market. Oh, I'm spoiling the end a little bit. Yeah, cool. As it is right now. So if you are looking to pick this up in terms of having it, if you're kind of on the fence and you have the original, yeah, I'll tell you, I do think that there are some notable differences between the two here. So as we kind of wrap everything up here and we take a look at Burning Godzilla side by side, you know, let's bring it home. Buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Well, hell, you ain't getting any deals on this, I'll tell you that much, pal. If you are looking to get this and you're kind of torn off by the $30 shipping from Hiya directly, I've seen some people say that they're going to skip that. Well, folks, here you go. There were plenty of folks doing middleman options from Shanghai One Fest a little bit ago after publication of this, and they were charging, and they got away with selling it to people for anywhere between $90 and $130. Some actually doxed everyone who bought it from them. Anyway, you missed out then. Okay, now Hiya is selling it directly for about $81 shipped. Cool. Once they're done with their made-to-order production run, as far as we know, that's it for this guy. And there's not going to be any more. So, if you're complaining about the $30 shipping price now, and they do not offer this again, ever, you want to pay $81 now, or $200, $300 later. You tell me what makes more sense. So if you wait and you have the means to buy it now, you really have no one to blame but yourself. If you wait and you get it later, you can't cry scalper, because, well, it's not scalping, it's the aftermarket. Nobody stopped you from getting it except you. So if you're comfortable skipping, say goodbye. If you're not and you want it, get it. I like it. I love it. I think currently it's the best Burning Godzilla action figure on the market. But I do think that we're just a step or two away from getting what could be the definitive Burning Godzilla, MonsterVerse Burning Godzilla action figure on the market. We still need the pulse effect, and we're not quite there for accuracy for the paint scheme. But I do think that this looks fantastic. I think it looks great. And of course, with those fists, you can have some serious fun, especially if you get creative. Remember, folks, if you're looking to get it now, do it instead of paying more and regretting it later.